Hey, it's Pinkmon and welcome back to the final Townie Makeover for the Eco Lifestyle pack and the final one until we get a new pack with new Townies, the Harris family. So this family is actually so much more interesting than I thought initially. Like, I kind of wrote them off as like just the boring, bland family of Eco Lifestyle or Evergreen Harbor. I didn't really pay them much attention at all, but after reading their info, I'm like, wow, they are so hilarious. Okay, so for their family description, it says, Cletus and Faye found this heritage home in Grimm's Quarry for dirt cheap. Nothing seems wrong with it, and the Harrises weren't about to question a good deal. Cletus's free-spirited mother soon joined them, completing the big happy family. Mysteriously, their eldest son always wears a shameful bag on his head. Also, it doesn't seem like any of them other than Faye has a job, but the house is well furnished. What is going on here? So yeah, as you can just tell by that, it's pretty interesting, but it gets more interesting. So on the Sims wiki about this family, it says they're based on American hillbillies, which is really freaking funny. If you don't know what those are, it's kind of like people who live in the middle of nowhere, like super rural areas. A lot of times they play like banjos and they fish and hunt and farm and like, it's kind of a stereotypical white trash hick kind of thing. I know some hillbillies in real life. I'll get to that later, but I just think that's really funny. And one thing though, I don't think EA did a good job of making them look that hillbilly-ish. I mean, they kind of do, but with my makeover, I try to give them more of that stereotypical hillbilly aesthetic. On the wiki, it also says that this family is kind of implied to be making some extra income through illegal means, such as selling moonshine. So it's kind of, they sell fizzy juice like in the game, but it's just kind of implied that it's supposed to be moonshine. And then also they have one really dimly lit room in their house with a bunch of vertical planters that kind of imply they're growing and selling weed. So that's freaking hilarious. It explains how they can afford the house they have with only Faye working out of the whole family. So starting off with Cletus, his career is obviously unemployed, as I said, and his traits are freegan, slob, family-oriented, domestic, and his aspiration is big happy family. I think this dude is so freaking funny. Like, I wanted to give him the most hillbilly-esque look out of all of them, so I gave him kind of a cowboy hat and a bunch of his outfits. I gave him like overalls. For his party wear, I gave him this shirt that's like busting open because maybe he hasn't gone to a party in a while, so he hasn't worn his nice button-up shirt, and he's gained a few pounds since he last wore it, so he can barely button it. The names in this household, can I just say, they're so funny, like Cletus, Jeb. Next up is Francine Spencer, which is Cletus's mom, and as you can see, she has a different last name, which I'm assuming that means she probably married someone other than Cletus's father. She does have the serial romantic aspiration. She's kind of like a really free-spirited old lady, so her traits are non-committal, romantic, outgoing, and user. She's one of those Sims that interestingly has a bonus trait that does not match her aspiration. Kind of weird, but they seem to be doing that a lot with Townies lately. This is actually the Sim that sometimes calls your Sim and says, oh, your distant relative died, and if your Sim gets married, you can get the inheritance. The look I went for with her was kind of an old lady that refuses to grow up. She's just mentally still kind of a young adult, wilding out, hoeing around town, no shade, no shame at all. That's just what she wants to do. Why not? She's an adult. She can do what she wants. She wears like tons of makeup. She has piercings. She actually already had the piercings, so I just went with it. She also originally had super heavy makeup and stuff. I don't know. I just feel like she's a grandma that refuses to grow up, and I kind of love her. I think she's hilarious. Next up, we have the wife, Faye Harris. So she is a chef. She's the only one with a job in the household. Her traits are freegan, glutton, goofball, essence of flavor, and her aspiration is Master Chef. I think she's super cute, and I kind of went for slightly less of a hillbilly look for her because she kind of, I feel like she married into the hillbilly family, if you know what I mean. So she still has a hint of girliness. I don't know, like she dresses up a little bit more than the rest of the family, as you'll see in her outfits. Next is the teenage son, Jeb. So Jeb is the bag head dude of this game, but I took the bag off, and the story behind the bag is kind of a mystery in the game, but I decided that I would give him like some pretty significant scars on his face, just so there's some kind of explanation as to why he was wearing a bag. Maybe he had like a super gruesome looking wound on his face, so he was wearing the bag, and now that it's healed up a bit, he's taking it off. And is anyone else like so surprised by how cute he is under this bag? Like, I think he's a really cute sim. He has kind of a baby face and the freckles. I love him. So my 100 baby sim actually got with him once he became a young adult, and I had her try for a baby before we took the bag off his head. So then I was pleasantly surprised after they woohooed and she took the bag off his head and saw, wow, he's actually pretty cute. This baby's gonna be cute. And it is cute. Okay, so as for Jeb's traits, he is good, gloomy, and a muser, and his aspiration is soulmate. Again, he has the muser bonus trait, even though he should have the alluring one since he has the soulmate aspiration. Kind of weird. The funny part about Jeb is, remember I mentioned I know some kind of hillbilly-ish people in real life? Well, my grandma has a neighbor named Jeb, which is short for Jebediah. And he's just like the most stereotypical hillbilly dude, like straight out of a movie or something, and I just thought it was really funny this dude's name was Jeb. I don't know if that's just a common name for hillbilly type people, I don't know. Last but not least, we have the child son, Gideon, whose name actually means feller in Hebrew, according to the wiki, and that's kind of funny because I feel like hillbillies use the word fella a lot. I don't know. I'm going all off stereotypes right now. But Gideon is cheerful and a social butterfly, and he's just like his dad's literal clone. So yeah, that's basically the family in a nutshell. I had a lot of fun with them, and they surprised me because I honestly was not looking forward to this makeover. I thought they were just so blah, and like I didn't know what to do with them until I read about the family, and I'm like, wow, they are so interesting. Like they could have their own little TV show, kind of like a new version of Beverly Hills Hillbillies. Isn't that an old show? I don't know. I feel like that's a thing. Isn't that about like some hillbillies from the South moving to like Beverly Hills? I feel like that's kind of the vibe of this family. Like, I feel like they came from the South and they have super strong accents, and they just moved to Evergreen Harbor to sell moonshine and weed to the residents. I just love it. I think it's so funny. Let me know in the comments what's your theory as to how Jeb got those 3 big scars on his face. I didn't really come up with a backstory as to how he got the scars, so let me know your theory on it. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope I'll see you next time. Bye!